Here we have one of the most competitive land speeders around. Let's talk about the obscure Forge World land speeder Tempest and why I think it's so good at the moment. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, the strategy focused 40k channel, where we're all about getting the most out of our miniatures on the tabletop. So a lot of the Space Marine Forge World units got points changes going from 8th to 9th, some of them did well, some of them came out a bit more worse for wear. Between points changes and rule changes, however, this land speeder Tempest might just have gone from something fairly underwhelming to something that's a bit of a force to be reckoned with. In this video we'll take a quick look at its datasheet and why I think it could be quite a scary threat to face. So the land speeder Tempest is a fairly old Forge World kit as it goes. It currently sells on the Forge World webpage for £43, and it's a bit of a slightly alternate take on a land speeder with an enclosed cockpit, some missile launchers either side of the main engine, and for some reason an assault cannon sticking out the front of the thing. It's got those land speeder style aerials on each wing, which look absolutely destined to snap off at the first opportunity. I personally don't even bother to put them on when I'm building regular land speeders. In the background, it's basically a land speeder variant that swaps the scouting and reconnaissance role for being a more dedicated enclosed gunship, often employed with success by the White Scars chapter, and there's some fluff about it about a group of these managing to take down a Reaver Titan. It's its in-game rules though that I really wanted to discuss. As it stands, the land speeder Tempest is a fast attack option, and you can get them in squadrons of 1 to 3. It's one of the rare units that seems to have got a points cut from 8th edition to 9th edition. It's gone down from 87 points in 8th to 80 points in 9th. The base stat line has gone up a bit, but the assault cannon has gone down in points, and the 2 Tempest launchers have become free. Stat line wise, it's fairly similar to a normal land speeder. It's got 15 movement instead of 16, although that's still ample in my opinion. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 6 rather than the standard land speeder toughness 5, 6 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 8 and a 3+ save. So basically a tiny bit tougher than a standard land speeder and a tiny bit less movement, but essentially very similar. Its firepower point for point though is very decent indeed. Assault cannons are good and generalist, but it's that Tempest salvo launcher that's really quite cool. These are 36-inch range heavy D3 weapons with strength 6, AP-3 and flat 2 damage, so basically made for killing things like Primaris Marines. They're both independent and they have the blast special rule, which means that if you're targeting any infantry that have 6 or more in the unit, they'll be getting flat 3 shots each, so you could be potentially throwing out 12 shots with this thing every turn. It's certainly not the most sturdy thing in the world, but being able to move and shoot for no penalty now, which is a change from 8th, this thing could pretty reliably skirmish and destroy enemy infantry, particularly being good at killing elite infantry like Primaris Marines. It has another very interesting advantage in the ramjet thrusters, which can basically just accelerate it to absolutely extreme speeds. Basically, when this model advances, you can move between 20 and 35 inches, so you could jump all the way to the other side of the board and maybe snag an objective or something. You get a bit of extra defensive protection as well for this. It becomes -1 to hit, and you can't charge or be charged by anything that doesn't have the fly keyword, so if your opponent's main way of dealing damage to you is via melee from ground units, then they're not going to be able to kill this thing in that way. It seems very similar to the flyer rule, but there's no real restriction on the movement. You don't have to go all in one straight line like flyers do, so it really can allow you to completely optimally position the unit. You could stack this with a big unit of them using skilled riders to get an invul save as well against enemy shooting, which could make them really hard to remove, which could be helpful if you are taking objectives with them. And if you happen to be playing White Scars, then you have yet more options. They have a stratagem called Hunter's Fusillade, which allows you to advance and shoot the heavy weapons as if they were assault weapons, and with the new chapter tactics that they got, White Scars can now advance and shoot assault weapons for no penalty, so you could have a unit of these zip across 35 inches, and for 1 command point they could blaze away with all of that firepower, just as if they hadn't advanced. Could be very scary for jumping into the back of an enemy army with a trio of these guys, and wiping out a unit or character that they thought was safe. White Scars could also advance and charge, provided they were targeting a fly unit for the target of the charge, which again could be very powerful indeed, say if you were trying to shut up the shooting of a powerful enemy shooting platform with one of these guys. Say charging into something like a Tau Hammerhead tank for example. I don't necessarily think that these are going to be absolutely spammed by lots of people, but maybe having 1 or 2 of them or a squadron of them in your army could make it very easy to grab some really far away objectives, and could be a really good utility piece for a Space Marine army. I would bear in mind that Games Workshop have said that they're re-releasing the Forge World datasheets at some point in the future. We don't know when, so it is very possible that it won't stay intact in this exact form all the way into the future. But at least at the moment I think it's a very interesting unit, and I could certainly see people using it as part of competitive Space Marine lists. So let me know what you think. Would this be a good addition to your army, or does its low durability make it a relative liability? If you've enjoyed, feel free to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this each day. And if you'd like to support the channel, I'd just like to mention that I have a Patreon page which is down in the video description. If you want to help keep these coming, as well as see some new videos early, vote in polls and get entered into the Auspex Tactics prize giveaway, feel free to give that one a look. It's only with the support of the channel's generous Patreons that I can keep these videos coming so regularly. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.